Hello everyone, this is Stuart Rose, Ag Sales Promotions Coordinator for DewEze, Harper, Kansas. I wanted to speak to you this afternoon just a bit about the what I'm going to call good, better, best. And I'm speaking on specifically hay efficiency or hay feeding efficiency as it relates to the hay that you put out and the cows will consume. In front of me here, you'll see here beside me here, we'll have a bale ring, and there's nothing particularly special about this bale ring that I wanted to point out. This ring actually will only hold 9 cows. So let's think about, let's say you wanted to feed 50 cows. If that's the case, you're looking at putting out at least, say, 6 rings or 6 bales to be able to get everyone someplace to eat. And that's assuming that you have, some timid cows that are going to have, or they're going to have to take their turn. So that would be something that really to consider, as well as when you have your cows around your feeder, you'll see that they're oftentimes going to be pulling hay out. Whatever falls to the ground, as they step back up, they'll step on that, and that's will be the last time they'll take a look at that. Also, I find around bale rings on a pretty frequent basis is that's where the baby calves get to be, and so that's exactly where they're going to get hurt. You know, they're laying here out of the wind or on that built-up hay. They're using that as a little bit of a cushion, if you will. But that's also where the cows, as they're running around the ring looking for a place to be, that's where they're going to get stepped on. Next, in the comparison of hay feeding efficiency, we'll talk about the DewEze bale bed. So one of the hugest advantages I believe that a bale bed offers over what a bale ring would be was the opportunity to transition from one area to the next where you're feeding your hay, and that's going to disperse the manure. It's going to disperse any hay that the cattle didn't eat over a larger area, and on highly erodible soils, it's just going to cut down on the foot traffic per area. So also, if you want to talk about efficiency as it relates to time, if you're feeding over a large area, say you've got to travel over several miles, that's what a bale bed will do for you. It'll give you the opportunity to haul 2 bales and get down the road and get a large number of cows fed. And there again, when we're feeding, say, maybe more frequently, and that's what you liked about the bale ring, is I didn't have to feed quite as often. But when we're going to be putting out a little less hay, we're going to get that hay stretched out over a larger area than we were with that bale ring, and that's going to just give more cows the opportunity to eat without having to put out quite so much hay. Lastly, we're going to talk about the DewEze S3. And in my opinion, this just gives us the opportunity to cut down on waste the most and disperse the hay over the largest distance. For any of you that are old enough like myself to remember feeding squares off the back of a pickup, at that time I feel like that was probably the most efficient way that we'd ever fed hay. You had a particular, say, 50, 60 pound bale, and you were feeding it and dispersing it to the appropriate amount of cows. And I believe then that this will do that exact same without much opportunity for the cows to stand on it or to bed in it. And so that is why I would, I guess, recommend for anyone out there that's feeding cattle in a localized area, we're feeding with a tractor, to consider this option. So we talked about that round bale ring, say with 50 cows, we're going to need to put out roughly 6 bales. Possibly then with a bale bed, we're going to put out maybe 2 bales and be able to go quite a bit farther. But with that bale bed, as you well know, so many bales don't necessarily unroll all that well. Or if the hay is a year old or so forth, maybe the bottom is rotted off of it, and as the bale turns that first time, you kind of shuck that top foot off, or the top even maybe 2 foot, so you've got a pile then that's knee deep, and be a few cows stand there, and that's where they're going to bed down that night, and then you finish that unrolling the core. Well, with the S3, we're going to roll that entire bale, and not only that what is the muddy bottom portion or so forth, it's going to go over a farther distance, and those cows will kind of sort through it, and come the next day, there just won't be that much left. You know, I can very easily take this S3 machine with a bale that maybe wouldn't unroll very far and go nearly a quarter mile. And what I oftentimes find then is that first bite or two that's maybe the less desirable is where the boss cows are standing, and they're kind of fighting over that last little bit. And you'll find those heifers or more timid animals be kind of tracking along down behind. Before too long, they're a long ways away from those boss cows, and they're eating the core of the bale, which is obviously going to be a little better. So if I want to talk about efficiency as into just what I think they're going to clean up, I'm going to put out, you know, 1, 2 bales depending on the given number of cows, and I'm putting it out in a 2-foot wide windrow, and with that disbursement, it's not going to give them the opportunity to really lay on it. Oftentimes you'll find if you kind of tighten up that windrow or maybe don't go as far, you'll find them standing shoulder to shoulder, much like they would eat out of a fence line bump. Also, by dispersing that hay over that distance, you're going to find that you've got baby calves, they're going to have an opportunity to get in there and and eat without having to fight the cows as well. So, good, better, best. I think then that that a bale ring is better than an unprotected bale out there. The DewEze bale bed was going to give you the option of being able to unroll, feed less hay than you would in a ring. It's going to give you the opportunity to travel and be able to disperse that hay a little farther and be able to help you on your erosion situation better than what that ring would. Then if we're really concerned about and measuring what feed efficiency looks like, that's what I would consider the S3. We're going to go the farthest, they're going to eat what we put out there, and on hay that's less desirable as it relates to the unrolling characteristics, then this machine will give you that opportunity to get through that hay, and the cows will eat an amazing amount of hay, or amazing amount of that hay that you thought they wouldn't maybe otherwise.